Hey, it's me again. I have to post another one of these calling BS videos because I do that whenever I see, like weird, just stupid, preposterous trends online. And oh my, it's happening again. For those that might be a little confused about the odd channel name change, well, there's a reason for that. You ever see those commercials on TV where you can buy a plot of land in Scotland and become an official lord? I did that. And the only reason I did that is because it's really funny to change your name on social media sites and put Lord in front of it. So that way when somebody gets pissed off and they decide to start talking shit to you, they get really even more pissed off when they have to address you as Lord, but to tag you. And it worked. But the reason that I'm putting this video together is because a friend of mine, I gave him an old still that I had, and I gave him a bit of a crash course, and he was, did pretty good. And I just told him, find some YouTube channels that you like to learn more, and whatever else, just other sources of information, because you can't learn everything you need to know from one place. So he found a channel called Still in the Clear, which led him to a group on MeWe.com called Moonshining for Beginners. And ever since he joined that, he's been like creating one mess after another. No matter how calmly he ran the still, he still kept caking the thing up with charred cornstarch. And I'm going, how in the hell are you doing that? You're supposed to be converting your corn starch to sugar with barley or amylase enzyme. And this group that he joined, oh no, they're completely against that. They're not even making moonshine. They're making cornstarch flavored sugar wash. So no matter what he does, he's boiling suspended cornstarch particles to the still. He says, well, these people are experts. They're off-grid. They have an off-grid group and they live off-grid. And I'm going, oh, I get it. They're trailer dwellers that don't want to pay an electric bill. And I can just visualize somebody running a still on a propane gas cooktop in a trailer on a wooden TV stand with an X brace on the bottom. I mean, hell, that thing could fall over and burn their house down all the way to the axles. We'll move along here. I got some other things that I have to take care of while I'm in the process of recording this, but yeah, time to call bullshit on these Facebook flunkies that are now MeWe wizards. And they're anything but wizards, I'll tell you that. Be right back. Hey there, I'm back. Temporarily. Anyway, I decided that I would join that MeWe group that my friend had joined and told me about, just to see exactly what information they feed people in there. And all I can say is there are a lot of people in this world well, I should say at least a lot of people in this country that don't remember anything about American history, or they're just too damn lazy to look it up to find out that they're completely full of shit and they don't know what they're talking about. As I said earlier, it seems like all they want to teach people in there is how to make cornstarch flavored sugar wash, meaning you take sugar and water, add yeast to it, and let it sit and ferment out, and then distill it. There you have what some people call white dog or white lightning. It's just pure alcohol, no flavor. So they add corn to it, starch floats out in there, and they distill that. But they seem to think that the old timers, when there's some people in there say they're doing things old school. I'm going, if you had any clue about the old school ways, they didn't do that. The Great Depression started in 1929, ended in 1939. Prohibition started in 1920 and ended in 1933. Those people that were making moonshine during the Great Depression, they couldn't use sugar. They really did have to do it the old school way, meaning you had to get the starch out of your corn by boiling it, and then you add malted barley, which is nothing more than barley that sprouted a little ways, and then you stop it. And what comes out of the barley is amylase enzyme, and that converts, and therefore that's what you end up distilling. Now, during the Great Depression, you couldn't get sugar just because you wanted it. There were war rations. Everybody had a war ration coupon for X amount of sugar per month, and that's all you were allowed. The only way you would have possibly gotten more sugar than what you were allowed during the Great Depression is if you stole it. And who's going to run that risk of being busted for theft, and then also being busted for making moonshine during Prohibition? Seriously, people, get a freaking clue. That is not old school, and the information that they're teaching people in this group is wildly inaccurate, and it's lazy. That is not moonshine. That is cornstarch flavored sugar wash. And if you don't remove, or at least convert your cornstarch to sugar when you go to boil it in your still, no matter how hard you try, you're going to end up scorching starch to the inside of your still, which is what my friend was doing. After I taught him how to actually do things the correct way, he started following these people. Next thing you know, he's going, "Hey Larry, I'm always having to scrub the inside of the boiler to get stuff off of it." And come to find out, that's what it was. It was the starch that did not get converted. But these Facebook flunkies that are now experts on MeWe, they're convinced that's the old school way. Sorry, that's why you're a Facebook flunky. You probably got laughed off of Facebook and you went to MeWe because it was a lot easier to sell yourself as a wizard to a bunch of people that don't know better. Not everybody in this world is as stupid as you think they are. Or, I should say, not as stupid as you. Be right back. At any rate, a couple days ago, there was a guy in there asking about the reasons for doing a stripping run, and then he asked how many times you can redistill, what comes out of your still, the distillate. And I told him, as many times as you want to, because that's basically how they make vodka. They just keep redistilling it, and it progressively removes flavor from it. So in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, out here, There's a small-time micro distillery called Great Plains Distillery. They make vodka out of corn, whereas normally, wives' tales will tell you that it's made out of potatoes, but that's a really inefficient way of doing it. Most times these days it's made with some type of grain. But I warned the guy that you don't want to put anything more than 40% or 80 proof into a still, because it's an easy way to make things go boom. And I gave him for example. Now, I didn't say, here, try this. I said, for example, if you were to take a shot, 1 ounce of anything, and put it in a microwave for 15 seconds, you could put a lighter close to it, or a match, whatever, and just the vapors will ignite. And that's why you don't want to distill anything more than 80 proof, because if you have a leaky still, things are going to go boom really fast. Because a lot of these people, they run a still over an open flame, some type of a propane burner, Well, the moment that I mentioned that, holy crap, 2 of these high on themselves admins in the group, including the owner's wife, whatever her alias was, Windskank or something like that, proceeded to tell me that if you're gonna do things or be irresponsible about distilling, take it elsewhere. What the fuck are you talking about, irresponsible? I'm giving the guy a warning, saying what you should not do and why. One of the admins, I told him I learned this from an actual, there's 3 people in the distillation world on YouTube that are considered experts. Jesse Wilson from Still It, a guy that just goes by Bearded and Bored, and another guy named George Duncan, who no longer publishes videos because of dealing with idiots like this that think they know everything and try to convince the rest of the world that they're all full of shit. So I went over, I saw a new video published by Jesse over on Still It, and I posted a comment there. I'll put some screenshots of the interaction between us, and it's just laughable. These guys are, the owner says, I've seen defective microwaves. I'm going, yeah, well, I've seen defective stills. And Jesse had a few more points, but it's very obvious that the people in this group want to keep you as stupid as possible. They don't want you to know any more than them. If I explain anything in scientific, factual manner, the owner of the group gets all seriously butthurt because he doesn't understand. He doesn't know shit. If you start talking scientific stuff to him, like I told him, a microwave is doing nothing more than vibrating molecules at 2.4 gigahertz, and that's all it is. But obviously he's one of those that thinks a microwave oven is an A-bomb that lives on your counter. Typical hick. Like I said, I can understand his case why you wouldn't want to do anything too risky, because he's a trailer dweller living off grid, and if he sets his place on fire, he'll burn it down to the axles in no time flat. Let me grab those screenshots of that interaction between me and Jesse, and you'll see what I mean. Back in a second. Okay. The day after that little pissing contest, Jesse from Still It released a new video, and oddly enough, the title of it had something to do with safety. And it wouldn't have done me any good to
post a comment on the other video in question, because these guys, they don't monitor comments on a video that's 2 years old or however old it is. So if you want to get their attention, it's best to catch them right when they release a new video. So that's what I did here. And you can see both times that I replied or commented here, Jesse himself gave the comments a heart response, which means the same as a major thumbs up from the video owner. I said, speaking of safety, one of the admins in the Moonshining for Beginners group on MeWe yesterday said that he felt the need to email you about your nuclear aging video because it was supposedly perpetuating all this dangerous information. Isn't it grand how a person thinks that their role as an admin in a little group of 1,000 makes them a YouTube content moderator as well? Jesse's response was, he isn't entirely wrong. It's dangerous, as is leaving a smoker running all day on the deck and deep frying a turkey, or actually just deep frying at home in general, or changing LiPo batteries, or, and he's right. And then I followed up and said basically the same thing that I said. He said, I've seen faulty microwaves. And I said, I've seen faulty stills, and a leaky one over an open flame is far more dangerous. But he's an admin, and when people like that realize that they have no case, they say your debate is an argument and disrespectful, then threaten to boot you from the group. Children with an admin title are so amusing. And as you can see there, Jesse gave that another heart response. And then the guy that I'm referring to, the friend that I gave the still, he posted a comment. I guess that would have been earlier today, saying it's only dangerous to a complete idiot that shouldn't be running a still in the first place. However, it is funny how the owner of the group is against any and all forms of redistilling. So if you over oak something, he must think you just have to throw it out. And don't even think about making vodka or gin. His wife actually calls it irresponsible moonshining. Definitely not the right place for anybody who wants to learn anything more than making cornstarch flavored sugar wash, which is what I said earlier. And here, this proves everything right here. We're dealing with people who are obviously Facebook flunkies that couldn't make it over there. They probably got laughed off the platform, so they came over here, and don't dare want anybody in their group smarter than them. What's really funny is after this exchange or pissing contest, whatever you want to call it, I posted in their group itself a picture of me making a new chocolate mint gin with my air still on the counter. Gin is redistilling because you have to put neutral spirits in a still along with botanicals or whatever, herbs, spices, whatever. It's still redistilling. But the owner was just all gaga over it. Thought it was fantastic. This bonehead doesn't even realize that what I'm doing there is exactly what he said that he's 100% against and won't allow in his group. What a complete effing bonehead. So, all I can say is if you are getting into distilling, pick your sources of information carefully. If you remember, not long ago, I posted another one of these calling BS videos, and it was on where you get your information matters. And in this case, if you're just getting into distilling, avoid that Still in the Clear YouTube channel like the plague, and definitely don't even bother with their pathetic little MeWe group, because you're going to learn nothing more than a cheap shortcut way of making something that they think is moonshine, but is not moonshine. Look up the origins of the word moonshine, and it says nothing about mixing up a bunch of cracked corn and sugar and water and boiling it and then adding yeast to it, not converting the starch from the corn to fermentable sugars. So that's about all I have for this calling BS video. As you can hear, my MeWe account is going ding ding ding. But like I said, where you get your information matters, and if you really want to learn distilling, focus on 3 channels. Still It, with which is a channel owned by Jesse Wilson. He's from Australia. Bearded and Bored, which I don't know the guy's real name, but I'm pretty sure he's in Texas. And then Barley and Hops, which is a channel that George Duncan, also from Texas, started a long time ago. But like I said, he has left YouTube. He no longer puts out new videos, and it's because of idiots like these clowns in the Moonshining for Beginners and Still in the Clear. Rank amateurs. All I can say is I hope in their advanced age they can try actually learning something new and not getting all butthurt when they find out somebody is actually smarter than they are. So that's all. Take it easy. Catch you around next time. Bye.